You're listening to 90 Day Soulmate with the relationship engineers, Jim Gulnick and Lisett Guevara, only on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome to 90 Days Soulmate with Lisett
and Jim.
Today, we will be talking about Chapter 6 from the book 90 Days Soulmate. It's called Time for a Change. Time for a Change. So this is the chapter in the book where you've gotten to the point of saying, yes, I want a new relationship, either a better relationship or a soulmate. And this is the chapter where Lisett actually shows what her list was when she found me, how she created it, and ideas for brainstorming with yourself the thoughts of who you are, what you want in life, and what you want in a relationship. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah. It's a secret.
It's a secret? Well, it's a secret, but it's an open secret because it's right in the book.
And people feel more interested.
Oh, it's a secret. You can't find it. So let's continue on with today's show. We will be talking about Chapter 6, Time for a Change. But first, we're going to talk about the big 5 personality traits. We'll explain why. Systems theory in romantic relationships. And of course, we will be talking about the chapter directly. Why do you think we want to talk about personality traits today before we get into Time for a Change?
I guess because the first step, you need to know who you are. And then you understand what you want. So
sometimes it's really difficult to figure out who you are, especially when you say, who am I? Write it down on paper. So what we try to do is give you specific subjects and themes to think about to help you in what you're thinking about yourself, observing yourself, right? So areas to observe, what your preferences are, what your patterns, what your programs are. Mm-hmm. Therefore, being able to more easily define that. We're going to look at the personality traits. Then we're going to look at systems theory. These two things will generate a whole bunch of ideas for us that then can be directly applied in Chapter 6. Time for a Change. Let's get to the next slide here. We are going to be talking about the big 5 personality traits. It's a detailed overview for understanding the core aspects of personality. Generally speaking, I always try to remember the, what is it called? Acronym? Acronym OCEAN.
Okay.
OCEAN. O for openness to experience, C for conscientiousness, E for extroversion. What's the other one? A for the, what is it? Amiability. It's the ability, agreeableness, how you get along with others. And then N is neuroticism, or somebody who is just very anxious and nervous all the time. And we'll talk about each of those to understand a little bit more about ourselves. Let's start off with the O, openness to experience. It is about, and how do these relate to relationships? Is openness to new experience is when you have intellectual contemplation, when you think about things, when you think about what could be, what's if, engages in deep thinking about abstract concepts. Do you like to think about new things, new ideas? Willingness to think differently and try new things. Open to change and new ideas. Creativity and discovery. Values artistic expression and exploration. So a lot of times this is for somebody who likes a variety of things in life. They like different foods, they like different art forms, they like travel. They are really just like up for anything. Mm-hmm. Openness to new experiences.
No, everybody's the same. Some people don't like to be open.
Some people are like they're well, not open. They're like, you know what? I'm good where I am. Mm-hmm. I don't need to go to France.
Yeah.
I don't need to experience a different type of music. Mm-hmm. I grew up with this music, and this is what I like. You know?
And this is okay.
And that could be that you're open to people, that you like people, but it's just that, like, if somebody says, hey, let's go to a new restaurant again, let's go to the shore this weekend, then let's go to the city, and you're like, no. There are people like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that is the openness to new experience. One is, for yourself, are you feeling that you are open to new experiences? Mm-hmm. And therefore, when you define yourself, do you want somebody who's exactly like you, or maybe somebody who pushes you a little? Like maybe there's a little bit of tension there. You know, the old, what is it? Compliment.
Yeah.
Not the exact same, but somebody who maybe you're a little shy, but you want to experience new things.
Yeah, so the way that you can handle the difference. So you don't want to find somebody exactly like you, because this is not real. But the difference between each other is something that you can handle and complement, versus feel is a negative.
Sure. No, I agree with that. How about conscientiousness? Mm-hmm. So conscientiousness is related to the level of responsibility and reliability somebody has. It takes duties seriously and follows through on commitments. Somebody at work who's conscientious will get the job done. They'll do it correctly, and then they'll ask you how they did, and they'll be concerned that they did a good job. That will be the same in a relationship, right? Hey, did you like was today's meal good? Mm-hmm. Do you like where we went? Discipline and willingness to postpone gratification. Oh, that's a big one. Maybe we'll stop there for a moment. Mm-hmm. So the discipline and willingness to postpone gratification. You know what? We could just go and do this and go and do that and go and do that. But you know what? I want to have a long-term goal with you. So I'll postpone my own personal gratification, not on everything, but on certain things, in order to sacrifice for the relationship. Or instead of calling it a sacrifice, call it an investment in the relationship.
Yeah, and also the level that you planning, and you, for example, if you say, okay, our plan is a travel in December, and now we are in February,
right.
March. So you planning to have some kind of reduced costs in the year, because you wanna enjoy. So you feel also gratification because you do effort, you do planning, and now you feel like that this is the good moment.
Right. So you have a little sacrifice now, but then you have a big benefit later. Mm-hmm. Consistent behavior is one of somebody who's conscientious, that they have consistent behavior and interpersonal integrity, meaning when they deal with other people, they say what they mean and they do what they say. They act in predictable manner, I like this one, and maintain moral principles.
Yeah, that is for me the most important topic, because when you are with somebody, is integrity is the word?
Integrity.
Integrity.
So, right.
You trust and you feel relaxing. So figure out, live with somebody that you not trust, that you don't know what to expect, because the person change every time, and what he say is not what he do. Mm-hmm. So you really, it's not easy to handle that.
So I had this thought game years ago. Mm-hmm. It was talking about going on an island with different people, and would you rather go on the island with this person, or this person? And some of them were really likable people, and this had to do with politicians, by the way. So my answer to this was, I would rather go on this island with a politician I did not get along with at all and didn't agree with at all, as long as they were consistent in their views and their policies, compared to someone who just said the right thing in front of each group differently. Because if we were stuck on an island together, mm-hmm. I want somebody that I can trust to behave the same way all the time. So if we disagree on something but then get to an agreement, once we have the agreement, they're not going to break it and change it for something else. Yeah. So integrity comes down to consistent behavior. It may not be behavior that's a mimic of yours, but it may be, you know what? I don't agree with what they're saying on this subject, but I know that what they're saying is what they really believe, and I trust that when they say something to me, they mean it, and when they say that they're going to do something, they do it. And to me, I agree.
That. Yeah, I respect that.
Ooh, how about this one? Extroversion. That's why I like my olive oil. I like olive oil with a personality.
Extroversion.
Extroversion. It feeds off public interaction. And a person who's extroverted will feed off public interaction. They'll get really energy. They'll get energy from other people. They are socially at ease. They like the situation where they're talking to people, walking around. They're comfortable in social settings. They enjoy attention. They are typically confident and energetically outgoing. They display high levels of enthusiasm and assertiveness. Now, there's parts of that that's good and parts of that that can be bad depending on you yourself, right? So somebody who's like a social butterfly and are out there and they're really at ease talking to people and they have all this confidence, well, you can have all that, but you could have no integrity, no conscientiousness. So the worst, from my point of view, the worst type of person is high extrovert, very low conscientiousness.
Wow,
right?
This is a bomb.
Well, you can. I'm not going to say anything about politicians, but again, we've had relationships with people like that, haven't we? Mm-hmm. They're so friendly, they're so nice, and then you find out they're dating 4 other people. Oh, that's great. So fun to be with.
Different view.
So that's another thing. Do you want to be an extrovert? Do you want, how do you, if you find out, and this is part of the finding out who you are, you're like, you know what, I'm shy. And I know we talk about this. I grew up, as a child, I grew up, obviously.
Every people is shy when it's shy.
We were all children before. We hope,
Mm-hmm.
So
you keep in the shy
behavior.
behavior.
A little bit here and there. The thought that we talked about before the show was somebody who is maybe not as much of an extrovert, a little bit more introverted, and they want to be an extrovert. How do you become that? You can't just become that by self-analysis. You have to have steps. We talk about cognitive behavioral therapy, but if that's something that bothers you, being not an extrovert, being shy, you say, how do I put myself in situations where I become more of an extrovert? Maybe I join a photography club or a music appreciation club or something that makes me interact
with people,
And I teach myself to become an extrovert because I'm doing something I enjoy with other people that I enjoy. It's also a great way to meet people if you're looking for a relationship, right?
Yeah. No, so I remember my uncle, he was really introvert and he applied for sales guy in one company. And then he transformed completely, become extroverts. So, yeah.
A super extrovert.
Yeah, definitely.
So I agree with you. Oh, wait, agreeableness. That's next on our list here. The ability to get along with others. Now that's, again, agreeableness without conscientiousness means you agree with everyone, but you commit to no one, right? Mm-hmm. So that's agreeableness. Prefers harmony in interactions, avoids conflict. We'll talk about that in a bit. This is interesting. Smooth interaction and cooperation with others. Works well with others. Demonstrating flexibility, ability to do things in different methods and processes depending on who they're with. Having tact. Showing kindness and being loyal, values relationships and shows empathy towards others. Now, what I find interesting in this, again, agreeableness, that there are quote, yes people. Yes, they say yes to everyone. And they just said yes to 3 different people who asked them 3 different questions in a different way, which means their answer that they were agreeable on was contradictive. It was contradicting their other answers.
And also they avoid conflict. So these people sometimes don't want to see the truth, try to do everything is happy, everything is okay. So be careful because sometimes you need to confront and you maybe disagree with something.
Here's one for you. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about neuroticism in a moment here. Neuroticism, somebody who's highly neurotic and highly agreeable, they have to agree or they get very nervous, right? They want to, they're people pleasers, right? They're a people pleaser and they feel that they're sacrificing self over the relationship. I'm doing everything for you. And sometimes they become martyrs also. That, oh, I did that for you. So well, let's talk about neuroticism, actually. So if we go to neuroticism, it is nervous behavior that induces the same in others. They often feel stress and anxiety over the most simple things. They have a level of emotional instability. They experience mood swings, emotional ups and downs. They typically are pessimistic, anxious, and insecure. They tend to view situations negatively and have a lot of self-doubt.
Okay, but I believe that this is some personality characteristic that everybody have in different levels.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's all. The big five are from high to low on all of them, and it's where do you fit. That it's not that you're neurotic, you're not neurotic. It's where are you on the spectrum, right? It's we always look at these things. If all personality things are, and look at psychology, is they look at normal distributions of people's personalities, and the person who's right in the middle is average. And a little bit to the right is one way, a little bit to the left is the other way, and they're within a normal range, but have tendencies one way or the other. But then there are extremes. There's the extreme neurotic person who's anxious about everything, and then there's the person who's not neurotic about anything. They don't actually have any anxiety at all, and they become a psychopath. So they may be an extrovert, they may be really confident, they may have low conscientiousness, and they may have zero neuroticism, which means zero integrity. So we're not describing ourselves or you, hopefully, but the point is that there's a wide variety of variation in all of these. You have to see where you fit your comfort level. This is not like, you can say, oh, from 1 to 10, I am here. Or you can give examples of what you enjoy doing and how you feel in certain situations to get an appreciation of how you are in the big five. And these big five personality traits are real important because they are somewhat inborn, somewhat malleable, and somewhat learned, right? So we have what we were born with, what we learned in our environment, and now we also have the ability to change some of these personality traits. And that's some of the benefits of being able to do research in this and learn from it, is that understanding that we can change who we are by changing the current situation and making the current situation become our template of training for the future is real important.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about this when we come back on 90 Day Soulmate with Lisett.
And Jim.
Tired of attracting the wrong type of guy, it was time to give something else a try. She got her computer and started to plan and created a process to find her man. Soon she went on a perfect date. And then she knew it must be fate. In just 90 days, that is all it took. How she found her match? It is in the book.
90 Days Soulmate is brought to you by 90 Days Solutions.
Welcome back to 90 Day Soulmate with Lisett.
And Jim.
Today we're talking about Chapter 6, Making the Change. It's not really said. What's the word? What's it called? Making the change. Time for a change. Yeah, making change. Here's $1. Give me a couple of quarters back.
With olive oil.
With olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil. Thank you. Ooh. We're all good now.
Yeah.
All right, let's start again. So in Chapter 6, Making the Change, Time for a Change, which is now you're making a change because it's time for a change, we offer some worksheets to fill out which make you analyze who you are, what you want in life, and what you want in a relationship. So some of the areas that we suggest you look at beyond your personality kind of drive you in different directions. Here is a list of things we bring up. What's your faith and belief? What do you actually believe in? What are your values and judgment? What's your family and cultural upbringing? What, based upon that, are your patterns and programs? Social and community thoughts. What do you feel when you interact in society and community? What are your fitness and health goals? Who are you in terms of that, and what do you want in the future? Do you want to change what you're doing fitness-wise and health-wise? Hygiene and appearance. I want to grow a full head of hair. It's not going to happen.
I don't like that the way.
Finance and money. Profession and occupation. Relationship and behavior. So how do you act in a relationship? What's your behavior in a relationship? All these things are important in determining how you approach life. So you look at these things and you say, how am I in these areas? What do I like about them? What do I not? The reason we bring these up is that we've had a lot of seminars and workshops where we say, hey, write down who you are. And people for 5 minutes will have a blank piece of paper because it's such an overwhelming thought.
Yeah.
It's an overwhelming question. So what we're trying to do is direct people into smaller and smaller and smaller things, like instead of what clothes do you like to wear, it's what are your favorite shoes? Mm-hmm. Do you like slip-ons or do you like laces? Do you like sneakers or dress shoes? That you focus on a specific thing and then you kind of build the whole character. Mm-hmm. So these are the things, and we've got a few more on here. We have what is an emotional relationship? What do you like in it? What are you like in having an emotional relationship? Communication style. Are you direct? Are you indirect? Are you passive? Are you aggressive? What do you want? What do you want to become? Your attitude and interaction. How is that with a partner? Your thought process. How do you think? Are you concrete? Are you creative? Are you linear, that you have to be this way, it's got to be that way, and you know that, but you're willing to accept somebody who's not, or you want to become more fluid in your thought process. Yeah. I want to become more creative. How do I become more creative? Just do random things. I mean, what's your hobbies and activities that you like? And are those the ones that you like now and you want to like in the future, or you have other ones you'd like to bring on as part of your life? What else do we have here? Goals and challenges. What are the challenges? I want to gain 10 pounds of muscle, and that's my goal. The challenge is I don't like working out.
He's got it.
That's it. Right? You got to do something. Character and personality. So character can mean two things, but character here we mean is what is your level of integrity? I know people always think they're trustworthy in integrity, but what's your flexibility in that? Meaning, you know people can't always tell the truth. Is that true?
No.
That sometimes we tell these little commissions, omissions, we say things because we don't want to hurt people. And sometimes we have to look at that as being tactful, right? So we were talking about tact before, in agreeableness, being tactful, or conscientious, knowing that if you're straightforward with somebody, they're going to get hurt, and now you're going to feel guilty about it. Well, being conscientious, thinking about being conscientious rather than later on going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. So some of it is contemplation into the future. Yeah. Based upon where I am and what do I in the future, am I critical of myself? And how do I think before I act? And do I want to change that in my personality? And then political views. I think we've mentioned that a couple of times. Political views, do you want somebody who matches your political views or complements or is constant tension? There's a couple on TV.
Or never talking politics.
Never talk politics. There's a couple on TV, and one was like a staunch Republican, and the other one was a Democratic, what do they call it, consultant. And so they both were just like, if you would see them on TV, on CNN or a TV show, and they would have exact opposite things to say. But they were a couple, and I think they still are a couple. This is like 20 years later, and you go, is it all a show? Maybe they know that it's a show. And maybe we shouldn't take politics so seriously. Continuing on, we want to get into what we call the systems theory in loving relationships. Understanding human organizational systems. A lot of this presentation is taken from papers that I've written in the past, and one was we were looking at the systems theory in business, systems theory in organisms. I was trying to relate them to relationships, and that we have 4 systems in relationships. So these are things that now more as we analyze ourselves, these are 4 areas we can focus on, our systems and how we interface with another human organism. In this case, systems theory explores the complex systems within human organisms comprising spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical components. It emphasizes the interconnectedness of these systems in forming a cohesive whole, particularly in the context of loving relationships between humans. Okay, puzzle piece. We're a puzzle piece, they're a puzzle piece. When you look at our spiritualness, their spiritualness, if you look at my physical focus of my physical systems and your physical systems, when you look at mental and emotional systems, and you look at all of those separate, it helps us break down all of the systems into the subcomponents in order to analyze those areas, understand who we are, and what we're looking for. So we'll talk about each of those things in particular as we continue on here. The spiritual system can be your beliefs and values. It can be something that has to do with the peace you have in just being and how you manage systems wisely. It embodies spiritual wisdom and parts shared. So in a couple or in looking for a relationship, you might be looking for shared spiritual or philosophical beliefs, which can deepen connection and provide common ground for navigating life's challenges. So as we know, emotional intelligence is very important. Mm-hmm. I see, and I think we've discussed this, is that spiritual system, our system of beliefs and values, is the guiding post to emotional intelligence. Right? So, so a strict sense of what we believe in spiritually helps guide us on how we interact with other people emotionally. Yeah. So this is the interconnectedness of all these systems. So having I believe in these things, these are my values, it can be religion, it can be a common thought. You know, everything all of our beliefs have a certain level of, I'll call it magic in our subconscious. Strong beliefs and values trigger things in our subconscious that then we act upon without any knowing regulation. We just do something and we're like, why did I do that? Because you typically do what you believe. Let's continue on with this. It's the wrong button there. The mental system. So in a relationship, you might be seeking an educational level that has compatibility and intelligence that is, quote, matching yours. We all think we're intelligent, but we all are intelligent sometimes in different areas. So maybe musically I'm intelligent, and maybe Lisette's intelligent in information sciences. So we're both intelligent, but it's in different areas, and we may want a compatible piece where we're intelligent in the same thing. So maybe we're developing it right now. Intelligent relationships.
There you go.
Valuing the desire for knowledge. So you may value that somebody has a desire for knowledge and harmonious learning, that together we can learn new things. That there's intellectual compatibility and mutual respect for each other's thoughts. Oh, not only thoughts, but opinions. And this can then foster growth and understanding in the relationship as you grow individually and together, which is very important for a relationship to have high levels of well-being.
I know. So for this, I thinking about you and me, and when I start to dating you, and I see why the past relationship, the ex-wife that you have, don't see this part of you. So it's different way that people can connect each other. Okay. You know, so I open some boxes in your brain that maybe somebody not open, and I see how much, for me, smart you are.
Okay.
And then maybe the other person don't see this, have low self-esteem, thinking, this is mean, or this is we cannot talk because you're talking about topic that is not interesting for me. So I guess that looking for the connect by this level is important to recognize who is your soulmate.
And I guess if you say this in a educational what do you call it, setting, is if I know some stuff in engineering, and I'm talking to somebody who I work with, and I start talking about PV, pressure times volume, is equal to N, which is the number of moles, times R, which is a coefficient constant, and T is the temperature, an absolute temperature, which is going to either be Rankine or Kelvin, and they're like, you're just making this stuff up, aren't you? But if somebody who actually understands what you're saying goes, oh, they know what they're talking about, then they can question you, and you can connect at a level that's impossible at the same level. You can connect differently with other person. Maybe I play guitar and they play guitar, and we connect there very well, but not on the physics side. And with somebody I connect with on the physics side, I don't connect with musically at all. They're like, what is it? Piano schmago. Whatever. I don't care what a piano is. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay. So did we get into we didn't get into emotion. Here we are, the emotional system. We had just gone through the spiritual, the emotional. So here is expressing passion for love and romantic purity of heart. Maintaining optimism, integrity, and compassionate communication. Emotional resilience and the ability to navigate stress and conflict together strengthens the bond. So the ability for a couple, partners, people to be resilient emotionally, being able to navigate challenges, will strengthen the bond as they get past conflict and problems. Mm-hmm. Pretty straightforward. The physical system, which sometimes is the first system that engages in a romantic relationship.
Yeah, the first that you see.
Let's forget that part of it. Let's forget about chemistry. Let's go to how do you want to look forward in the future for yourself and in a relationship? Do you want to prioritize good health and an active lifestyle? Do you want to seek physical traits and sexual chemistry that are compatible with your personal preferences? And during the relationship, does it make sense that we want to maintain physical affection and intimacy over time because it promotes a lasting connection and mutual satisfaction?
Physical touch.
So physical system. So again, we have the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and spiritual. I just said spiritual twice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's that important. Mm-hmm. Spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical systems all play a part of who we're attracted to, who we are, and what we want in our life as we move forward. Additional desirable traits. So from the book, Lisett speaks about a couple of different things that you can look at that you might be interested in. For example, physical traits. You might look for someone tall. You might have an age category. You might say, oh, you know what? I like light-colored eyes. I want someone athletic. So you can have physical traits. Now, this is being more specific. As we said, being able to say, this is the type of shoe you want. Again, what kind of shoe do you want? Activity and hobbies that you want and what you want in the relationship. Oh, I want them to enjoy dancing and music. Economically, here's another shoe, right? Or here's maybe a shirt. Mm-hmm. Financially stronger or equal and aims for a prosperous and healthy life. So somebody who may be able to postpone instant gratification for a future healthy and prosperous life where you can retire together, travel the world, enjoying the foods of everywhere. Relationship status and past. So if you're getting into looking for somebody, are you looking for somebody who's been divorced, single? You want somebody who's already married, is married right now? We talked about a couple of shows ago, 3 daughters of a woman who had all 3 daughters in an affair with a married man. All 3 daughters also are having affairs with married men. Mm-hmm. So If that's what you want, that you put that down on your paper. It's something to look at. Communication. Do you want shared laughter with your friend? Do you want them to be a colleague? Do you want them interested in all aspects of your life, but not overstepping the boundary and becoming controlling and jealous? Where have you been? Where were you? Where were you 10 minutes ago?
No hablo inglés, señor.
We have a little collage for you here. Memorize this. It talks about emotional health, communication, hobbies, belief, characters, activities, finance, hygiene, family, social, challenges, professional, personality. It's a whole bunch of ideas that these are things that you write down as to what your preferences are in order to figure out who you are, what you want in your relationship. And when we come back on 90 Day Soulmate with Lisett and Jim, we'll get through the book, we'll get through the 3 exercises, and we'll end it with some fun stuff right here on 90 Day Soulmate with Lisett
and Jim.
Tired of attracting the wrong type of guy, it was time to give something else a try. She got her computer and started to plan, and created a process to find her man. Soon she went on a perfect date. And then she knew it must be fate. In just 90 days, that is all it took. How she found her match? It is in the book.
90 Days Soulmate is brought to you by 90 Days Solutions.
Welcome back to 90 Days Soulmate with Lisett
and Jim.
Today, we're talking about 90 Days Soulmate, Chapter 6. And I have to look it up because it's time for a change. If you're making a change, it's time for a change. We're talking about how to analyze yourself, who you are, what you are like right now, what you want in life, and what you want in a relationship. The number one thing, we have 10 quick slides for the next 10 minutes. Here you go. Who am I? It is part of the chapter. It's to determine a deep introspection to understand your personal traits, to identify your strengths, your weaknesses, values, and beliefs so you can determine if that is what you want to continue to be, but at least understand. A way to do it beyond the book is to regularly journal to track thoughts and emotions. By journaling, you'll get some written ideas down of who you are. You journaled for many years.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
And insightful. Mm-hmm. Number 2, what do I really want in life? It helps you clarify your desires, your aspirations, and your soulful needs. It helps you consider aspects like family, career, social life, and all the other things we just mentioned before. One of the things that Lisett has done, which I think is very influential in what you want to become, is a vision board. Visual pictures of where you want to travel to, the home you want to own, the peace you want to have. The which?
The car that you want to have.
The car you want to have. The body you want to have, whether it's yours or somebody else's.
Exactly, the 2 bodies, yours
Yeah,
and
why
the
not? The idea is by visioning this stuff on a daily basis, it introduces into your life the universal force of attraction, right? So by just having these thoughts of these things that you're looking for, you'll see them, right? You'll see the things that you're looking for.
I see you.
What do I want? What am I looking for in a relationship? This is a third list we have in Chapter 6. Define the ideal relationship traits and partner qualities. Based upon who you are, what do you want in your partner? Emphasize complementing and fulfilling each other over just some idealistic, unrealistic aspects. List essential qualities desired in a partner. So that is actually, we're saying, do what's in the book. List those essential qualities. And if you're journaling throughout the day and you have an idea, just write it down and then later on, transpose it to the book. Continuing on, Personality traits. We talked about personality traits. Do a self-analysis to uncover complex personality aspects. When you learn about how open you are to new experiences, what's your conscientiousness? Are you overly worried about how other people see you? Which may go from being conscientious to a little bit neurotic. Acknowledge of spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical dimensions. So that we talk about the systems. The systems. Take personality tests to understand traits better. Sometimes that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. And maybe you'll just understand what those personality traits are as you understand who you are better. Helps clarify things. We talked about systems thinking. Again, analyze the components for a holistic self and partner understanding. Integrate the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical aspects of yourself and of your partner. Integrate the two together and understand that they are pieces and components that make a greater whole. Apply systems thinking in daily decision making. How will this affect me physically? Mm-hmm. How will this affect me mentally? How will this affect me emotionally? How will this affect me spiritually? Do I have to go against my beliefs in order to do this?
Yeah.
And by analyzing things from those four systems, you may have a different decision based upon how you analyze it. Next, self-development. Advocate for continuous improvement based on self-understanding. As you understand more about yourself, learn where you want to grow. Embrace growth potential and change. And that's the thing we brought about before. We talked about this with personality. We talked about in personality, you may find you're a certain way in your personality, and you're born a certain way, you learn a certain amount, and it's all malleable. It's all changeable, and you can change your personality traits, not drastically, but in the direction you want.
You can learn so much. Sometimes you have to be awake, okay, to see the situation. But when I talking with my mom, I'll be say our home and see the interaction of our parents, we trick. And we say, it has to be different. We can improve for ourselves. So that's the way that you don't have to be repeat the pattern because you have the option for reprogram.
So sometimes we may not see our own pattern, right? So by looking at our parents' pattern and the guardians in our life and our family and friends, when we look at their patterns, we can assume a little bit that we may have taken on some of their patterns. Mm-hmm. So it may be hard to recognize our own, but easier to recognize the influencers in our patterns.
Mm-hmm. And then the people, I hear somebody say that the human, based upon it's something that bother you, because when you visit your parents, something bother you, but maybe you repeat the same situation in your own home. Internally, we have like the tribal loyalty. So it's unconscious that you say, I be part of this tribal, this group, and the loyalty I have to demonstrate the same pattern. So you have to dig in deep to figure out when your brain is working like that.
And you've seen this. You've seen brothers and sisters, they fight with each other, but if anybody was to do their brother or sister wrong, they would get on their brother or sister's side and fight back against that person, right? So you may not like what your brother and sister's personality is, but you know what? You're going to naturally support it when it comes down to that.
Because the tribal loyalty.
It is. Mm-hmm. And so we want to adopt a growth mindset and seek learning opportunities when it comes to self-development. We want to get to creating that list. We talked about the guidance that's in the book on listing the qualities that are sought in a soulmate based on the introspection and self-awareness exercises of the book in Chapter 6. Also, all the chapters that lead up to it, which kind of give you an understanding of the reasons for this. You can then draft a soulmate criteria list. That's right in the book. You can go ahead and do that. Number 8. This is the most important part of our whole philosophy, which is belief in possibility. Belief is the essence of anything. That you can believe in self-change and attraction power. And when you believe that when you do change and that you have the ability to attract what you believe in, It happens that you are aligning yourself with the universal laws and positive thinking, and or should I say, aligning yourself through the universal laws and through positive thinking. That practice affirmations and positive visualization, journaling, vision board, affirmations, these things all work. Now, I got involved in all those things when I was younger. And you get involved and you're like, you're thinking they're working, you think they're not working. And then all of a sudden, like later on in life, you're like, wait, did they work? Or is it just because I'm really driven to have them work? And I think it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're focused on it and it's naturally leading you there because you're focused on it.
Yeah.
If you don't focus on anything, what are you going to get? Nothing.
Yeah. And also the good part, I make this kind of visualization with my friends, and I remember that she moved to Canada, and then we did like the 10 years ago,
right.
And when I visit her apartment and I see the view that she have in her apartment, and it's exactly the picture that she have in the board 20 years ago. So
right.
sometimes you like this apartment because in your brain, but you have the apartment that you visualize in the past.
You're attracted to what you're attracted to, and the more you know what you're attracted to, the easier it is to see. Focus of attention is the same as focus of eyes, that when we focus our attention, it allows us to see things. Again, we talked about somebody who knows physics. They can see things that have to do with physics because they understand it. Somebody who doesn't understand physics, they may have a natural understanding of things, but if they don't understand these complex laws, they may not see something that somebody who was taught this other level is able to see. Again, what you're focused on, what you've learned, what you've educated, what you've grown in, makes it easier for you to move continuously in that same direction. Engage in new experiences to shape personality. So we want to go that we talked about that genetics and environment shape personality. However, there is the ability, because personality and our brains, the neuroplasticity of our brains, we have growth and change potential. So engage in those experiences. Engage in what needs to be done to grow the direction we want to grow in. Oops, almost the wrong one there. And we want to invest in the relationship. Mutual investment and dedication to relationship well-being. That's what you should be looking for in a partner. Or actually, should we say, is that what you want to be looking for in a partner? I think so. Do you want to share life's journey with somebody that has the same commitment as you? Regularly communicate and share experiences with partner to build a longer, happier, more satisfying relationship. In conclusion, there are 3 steps that we can take. Any of us can go from where we are to where we want to be. And this is almost like a gap analysis, and we'll do it. We'll state it again. You want to have self-awareness and clarity of who you are. You want to believe in the process that this works, and it does. You want to take action towards the transformation. So it's not just believing, but you got to take action. Belief with action. It's like voltage. Voltage has potential, but until you connect it to a circuit, it does nothing. You need to be that circuit and take that belief and drive it through action. So the clarity is deep understanding of who you are, reflect of what you truly desire in a partner and in your life. Believe in the process. Cultivate a strong belief in your ability to change, the power of your values, and skills to activate the transformation process. You should embrace your new self-concept to attract your soulmate. If it's looking to attract your soulmate, you can use this for anything, by the way. Taking action towards transformation, invest time in yourself, get rid of external distractions, and of course, use self-observation. We always talk about using self-observation and introspection. These steps will guide you through a journey of self-discovery, right? They will, your belief in your ability to evolve will also help you take those important steps and next steps of growth. And if you're looking to attract or become more attractive to and actually understand your partner better, these self-observation, self-analysis, journaling, all these things help build a longer, deeper, more committed relationship. Do you agree?
Yeah, and grow together.
Grow together. Have a great week. Thank you for watching.
See you.
You're listening to 90 Day Soulmate with the Relationship Engineers, Jim Gulnick and Lisett Guevara, only on LA Talk Radio.